we're just gonna jump right into it. You know, being somebody that raised themselves, we tend to rely more on our friends and the people that we trust to keep us straight, to keep us in line, to make sure that we're not doing something out of pocket or something that's out of our character, to help keep us grounded and rooted in ourselves, and to also help remind us who we are, because when you don't really have that solid foundation of a family and you didn't really grow up with that, you can kind of easily get wobbly, and kind of inconsistent in your personality when you don't have anyone around you who knows you to the core to kind of keep you straight, or to kind of let it be known, like, hey, like, that's not like you, or you acting out of line, or that was out of character, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, when you raise yourself and you don't really have that, like, family structure, it becomes very important that you do find somebody that you can trust, um, that you do kind of create your family, so you can have a sense of sanity and some sort of consistency in your personality. um, but much like myself, when you don't really have when you didn't really have that, um, kind of foundation, and you really had to raise yourself, you become smarter a lot more quicker than the average person who does have all those things. But a lot of the times it took you the longer route, if that makes sense. When something could have been so much more simpler because you're a fool, right? You don't really have anyone around you. Oh shit. You don't really have anyone around you to kind of lead you or be an example, or someone who knows you so they could, like, let you know, like, when you kind of getting too far away from yourself, and when you're getting away from yourself and shit like that. um Damn, I had a point. I forgot my fucking point. That shit, when that shit fell, that shit made me forget everything. Basically, our friends are important. Our friends become our family when we didn't grow up with one, right? I take my friendships really very, very seriously. I take my relationships seriously because we need people, is the reality of it. And so when you grow up without having anyone, it's so easy to get led astray and to do all the fuck ups in the world, and for others to look at you as an example of what not to do, to embarrass yourself. I have so many videos on the internet of, like, what other people would see as, like, embarrassing, or like, oh, why would you put that out there? And it really just stems from the fact of me not having any guidance, of me not really having any consistent, like, anybody who stayed in my life long enough to really know who I am, so that way they could tell me when I'm getting out of line, when I'm acting out of character, you know what I'm saying? So it was like I didn't really have any consistency about me. And so a lot of that also played a big role in why, like, I feel like I'm sort of, like, left behind in a sense, because I don't have any, like, consistency about me. And I'm just now getting a place in my life where I am taking the relationships, really the only relationship that I have is the one with my mother, and the one with Uriel, and the one with my real dad as well. Those three relationships are, like, the only ones that's really been, like, a foundation for me. And so I started to just take those relationships a lot more seriously, in terms of, like, helping coordinate myself and having some sort of consistency about myself, and stuff like that. So if you're someone who also, raised yourself and never really had like a proper foundation, a proper family, um, you know, it's important that you go find your soul group, for real. It's important that you go find your friends that can be your family. It's really important that you do that, because again, like I said, the reality of it is that we need people. And um really, life is a lot easier once you have those people, for real. It really is, once you have your circle, because you won't fall for anything, because you got your family to back you up, right? You won't fall for anything because it's not like you're going to be alone. If you leave, you have your family. You won't fall for anything because you know what you stand for, because you have people around you that remind you who you are and your role and your place in this world. And so once you have that, it really changes everything, and it helps with all the other areas of your life. It really does. And a lot of times when we raised ourselves, we kind of get so used to just being by ourselves that we kind of make a heaven out of our hell, and we kind of mastered how to navigate life by ourselves, and it becomes a comfort zone that we don't want to leave, even though we're yearning for that family that we've never even had. You know what I'm saying? That companion that we never even have, that reciprocation. Shout out to Dolo, that we've never even had. So if that's you, your comfort zone is not helping you. So like, growth is right outside of the comfort zone. Growth is outside of your comfort zone. So it's important to step out of that. You will be happy that you did, and you won't have to continuously raise yourself, continuously remind yourself who you are, continuously give yourself these little prep talks and stuff. When you have your people around you, like, it's such a security, for real. It really is. It's a security. It's a security that we all need. It's a safety that comes with it, that we all need, and it's important. It's important. People are important. Your relationships that you have in your life are important. The sun is transiting my 7th house, so that's probably why I'm talking about this right now. But they really are important, guys. They really are. And just make sure that you find that. I know me deciding to kind of just focus on Uriel and focus on my mom and my dad, because they love me, but just focusing on the people that help me and the people that love me. I can't say Uriel loves me because he don't know me personally yet, but I could say I love him because of what he's done for me. But I don't know him personally either. But we will get to know each other, period. Manifesting. But so, but my mom and my dad, I know that they love me. I know that they always gonna support me. And they also help, remind me, like, of where I've come from. Not necessarily who I am, because like I said, I raised myself. They were never really there. But they help keep me grounded, in the sense of they help me remind, like, they remind me of, like, where I've come from and how far I've come. And you never want to forget where you come from. You never want to forget where you come from, because that's how you lose it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might get too greedy, you might get too smart, you might get too in your head, too in your ego, think you this, that, and the third, and you forget that you could lose it all. Don't ever forget where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget when that was you. You know what I'm saying? So that way you could give when someone who's in the same spot that you once used to be comes to you asking you for help, because you remember where you come from, you're gonna help them. But if you be like, nah, because you feel like you're too good now, watch God take that shit away from you. Don't ever forget where you've come from. You know what I mean? And my parents, they help keep me grounded in that sense. And Dolo just helps me helps remind me of where I'm going and who I am now, and all this other stuff, and as well as certain people in subconscious community. I say not everybody, but certain people in subconscious community as well help me with that. And it's really just been slowly but surely, through divine timing, just cultivating, a family and people that you could actually really trust with your vulnerability and all this, that. And just that process could be a scary process if your comfort zone is to be by yourself, is to govern yourself, is to parent yourself, is to help yourself, is to vent to yourself, is to cater and love yourself, and everything, it has to be done for yourself because you're just so used to being like that. It could be, like I said, out of your comfort zone to be vulnerable with somebody else, to reach out and try creating a family of your own, and stuff like that. But like I said, it's going to be worth it, because if you're being honest with yourself, you long for that shit. Because who wants to be by themselves? Like, you're just comfortable. That's all that is. But if we're being honest, you would definitely want a family. You would definitely want reciprocation, a companionship, someone you can trust, someone you can go to, someone that can remind you, or let you know, like, hey, like, you out of line, or let you know, like, no, you was actually right for that, like, to validate you as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is really just like some encouragement. If you're in that space, like, go and find those people that you feel like, let me be vulnerable with this person real quick and see if they on my same type of time, and see if we have the same likes and dislikes, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. It'll be worth it. But yeah, it's the age of Aquarius. It's the age of I know. It's the age of community. It's the age of tribes. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know your tribe. You gotta know the type of people you get along with, the type of people you won't get along. You gotta know who your soul family is, and you gotta know who you are first to know who your soul family is. Get in that tribe and do the damn thing. And that's just encouragement for everyone, and that's just what I've been doing. And again, it's all really just under divine timing at the end of the day. Also, you also don't want to force anything, but you also do want to keep that in your checklist of things to do, you know what I'm saying? And definitely keep yourself open to possible soulmates that you might come across, possible people that's part of your soul family that you might come across, and make sure you keep your heart open and be ready to be vulnerable and open up with that shit, you know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end that here. That's really all I really had to say. But just understand that just because you raised yourself doesn't mean you always have to be by yourself. Just because you raised yourself doesn't mean you always have to be by yourself. Period. There's someone out there for everybody. There's people just like you. You just gotta be yourself to attract them. Don't go out there necessarily looking for them, but just be yourself, and naturally you'll attract them. Vulnerability is the key. It's the key out of your misery. It's the key out of your situation. It's the key to more authentic, real relationships, and the key to a more authentic, real life that you actually want. Not things that you think you want just to fit in. No, things that you genuinely, authentically, truly, from a deeper space within you, want. Alright. That's really all I had to say. Shout out to all the real spirits out there, the real people out there, the realists. I love realists. It gets me so wet. Like, I love realists. Shout out to all you guys. And shout out to all the people just being true, keeping true to themselves. For real. And abiding by the truth and standing by God no matter what.